What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 4 of, for those that don't know, the most relatable podcast of the 21st century, guaranteed. Thank you guys for tuning in to the 4th official episode. I had so much fun recording the last 3. I know I say it every time, but it's really true. Like, I'm enjoying recording so much, even though it's just the beginning. I'm loving it, guys. I'm truly loving it, and I'm really happy you guys are listening and tuning in. To everyone who's new, welcome. To everyone who's been listening to the past 3 episodes, welcome back. A little side note, I want to be completely honest with you guys. I'm not going to be reading out the answers you guys gave to good old AP $50 question of what AP stands for. I'm sure you guys have sent in loads of messages and loads of guesses of what you guys thought. I seriously doubt any of you got it right. I'm sure I laughed at a lot of them because I'm sure they were great. But yeah, I'm not going to be able to read them out for this episode because I'm recording in advance. Basically, I'm not sure if I'll be able to record all my episodes on time, so I'm pre-recording just in case that I won't be able to, because I want to make sure content is coming to you guys regularly. And speaking of regularly, I'm going to be uploading every Wednesday from now on. So you guys are hearing this on Wednesday. The next episode 5 will come out next Wednesday. I know the first 3 episodes, I uploaded on Wednesday episode 1, and then Saturday episode 2, and then Wednesday episode 3. I wanted to get out as much content to you guys, but now I'm not into podcasting that much anymore. Just kidding. Obviously, I'm still loving podcasts. I just want to make sure you guys know when to expect my podcast, and to make sure you guys are ready for the next episode and you've taken your time and soaked in all the knowledge I give you every episode, because obviously you love my knowledge. But yeah, every Wednesday, that's when you guys can expect my episodes, my 40 minutes of goodness, of weekly goodness. Make sure to wait for next Wednesday, put it in your little calendar. Before I forget as well, make sure to follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. I'm fairly new to Twitter. I'm not comfortable in the Twitter sphere yet, so make sure you guys show me some love on Twitter if you're on there. Hit me with a little follow, a cheeky little follow. Same on Instagram. Just you see that follow button, you see it's blue hovering there. Just give it a little, just a tiny little click. Yep, that's it. That's all you gotta do, and you will make my day. So if you're not gonna do it for yourselves, do it for me, because you'll make me a very happy man. I'm gonna be honest with you guys again. I recorded episode 4. Pretty much as soon as episode 3 finished, I recorded episode 4. I finished the episode and I decided to not post it because it's a topic that I'd rather not do it pre-recorded, because I want to get your opinions in it as well, and I won't be able to because I've pre-recorded. Obviously, I can't get your information in time to affect my episode, and I think it's going to be a really cool topic to discuss, and make sure you guys have given me your input as well. You'll find out soon enough what that topic was. But today we're going to be going over, all of social media, because A, I think it's a very interesting topic. B, I think it's a topic that it can be useful if I have your opinion as well. Obviously, I value and cherish your opinion, but it's something I can also do solo dolo. It's obviously better with you guys, but it doesn't impact the episode as much if I don't get your input in time. And obviously, the third reason I'm doing this episode instead of the episode I recorded before is because this is something you can always revisit, because pretty much my opinion on social media changes on a weekly, monthly basis, depending on what's going on in my life and what's going on the social media world. This is something that I'm pretty sure I will go over again and again and again, because it's a very interesting topic and it always changes. It's not a very my opinion on it isn't static. The social media world isn't very static either. So yeah, there's so many different aspects to social media as well, that there's always a new or an unspoken about topic relating to social media that you can always discuss. Just because I'm doing an episode about it now doesn't mean it's not going to stay relevant for pretty much the entire time I'm podcasting, because I podcast and I promote my podcast through social media. So as long as I exist, social media exists, and therefore this topic is still relevant. Anyways, let's just get right down into the topic of today. Social media is massive. There's so many different platforms, and every platform in itself has its own issues and its own positives that come with it. So I've broken it down to make sure we go over most things. I'm not gonna go over everything because I don't think I can go over everything. I'm not well versed in all of social media to go over everything, but I'll go over it as much as I can. Disclaimer: everything on this episode is my opinion. You guys can agree with it. You guys can disagree with it. Let me know what you guys think. But in no way, shape, or form am I saying that my opinion is the right opinion or the only opinion that's valid. Everyone can think what they think, and that's the beauty of the world that we live in, of 2020. So I've broken it down to Instagram and Facebook. That's topic 1. Twitter is topic 2. LinkedIn is topic 3. And YouTube and influencers in general is topic 4. And if we have time, I might delve into TikTok. And if there's even more time, I'll go into Tinder. But Tinder I can always leave for a different episode, because it's a bit of a roller coaster. Tinder, it's up and I'm talking about Tinder, Hinge, OkCupid, the whole lot. I'm just calling it Tinder because Tinder is the most known one. But yeah, so let's get into it. Instagram and Facebook. Okay, I'm gonna start with the more chilled aspect of those two, which is Facebook games. I grew up on Facebook games. Millionaire City. What are the other ones? There was the Farmville. Wow. I was 10 or 9 when these games were big, and they took up so much time. They really taught me patience, funnily enough, because especially when you got to the bigger stages, you had to really wait for to build your town hall or to get the corn from your crop, when your crop was a level 10. I'm not very technical here. I'm just trying to explain. I don't really remember the game that much. So if I am wrong, don't slate me. But yeah, you really had to wait when you got to the later stages for stuff to build or to get stuff or to mine stuff. Which was, I had to be patient because I couldn't spend money on those games because A, didn't have a credit card. B, my mom didn't really know I was playing these games at the time because she was very against Facebook and stuff. She was like, oh, only when you're 13 can you join Facebook. And I kind of played on my sister's accounts. They just were really nice and they let me play, but I couldn't pay to develop in the game, so I had to really learn patience, which was nice. It's just an added bonus. I really I like the games a lot. They were really fun. They were really addictive. Which you might see it as a bad thing, but I think games have to build themselves to be addictive because that's how they're successful. I'm not gonna blame a gaming company for building an addictive game. It's everywhere now. Fortnite, Among Us, what was the other one? Fall Guys. They're all super addictive. It's just how games are. You can't slate them. But going into a bit more of a serious topic, that was just a side note. The obvious plus, the major plus of Instagram and Facebook and platforms like that is that it connects everyone. You can talk to anyone in the world at any point in any time of the day as long as they're awake, which is fantastic, especially for me. I grew up in 3 different continents. I have 3 very, very different friend groups that I've taken from there. And without it would have been a lot harder to stay in touch with people. I'm generally just not great at staying in touch with people. It's something I've naturally just not got the knack for, which might sound weird because, having friends isn't something that's supposed to use talent. But I'm just not great at it. I've never been great at staying in contact with anyone, whether it be friends or family. My mum knows this very well. She used to fly to different countries for her job, especially when she lived in Kenya. And I was just terrible at calling and checking up, which makes me sound like a horrible son, which I guess I kind of was on that aspect. But in general, I've just never had the, it's not that I don't care about my friends or my family or anything. I just haven't been good at, you know, thinking about them. This makes me sound really bad. This makes me sound horrible. And I guess to a kind of extent, I am kind of horrible that I am this way. But I try to improve on it as much as I can. I think I've improved on it since I was a little kid. Like now, I call my mum a lot, or I try to. Obviously, she'd prefer it if I called her more, but that's just how life goes. But yeah, I think without stuff like Facebook and Instagram, I would have been much worse at keeping in touch than I already am, which says a lot. So I think, especially for me, for people who have friend groups that aren't in their local area or they can't get to see all the time, staying in touch on Instagram, on Facebook is insane. I guess I'll include WhatsApp on this pro as well. WhatsApp isn't really a social media platform; it's more of a messenger. But yeah, it also helped me keep in touch. Same goes for Skype and all that good stuff. Zoom, I guess now is big as well, but Zoom wasn't really there when I was a kid. But yeah, connecting everyone is always great. I think it's something that, we always talk about the negatives of social media. I think this is probably the most obvious bonus of social media is how much it connects. And I don't think I would be as happy as I was if I wasn't as connected to my friends. And I owe that to Instagram and Facebook and all that good shit for making sure that I still have friends to this day. I don't have the luxury of always being around the same friends all the time. On the negative side, Instagram especially, I don't use Facebook that much. Instagram makes me feel like shit. Almost all the time. I open Instagram and I feel like shit. For multiple reasons. Okay, I'm not exaggerating. I generally just feel like shit whenever I open Instagram. Either A, I go on stories, or B, I go on my feed. Both of them very different, both of them kind of similar. Stories, basically, they just show the highlights of everyone's life, which is so unrealistic to how life actually is. And it just makes me feel like shit, especially during Corona, when everyone's like, because I have friends from different countries, everyone has different limitations on what they're allowed to do in their country. So, for example, now Israel's in a complete lockdown. You can't leave basically your house. You can't, all the restaurants, all the bars, anything that's of a social environment has been closed. I can't go see any friends. I haven't seen my friends for over a month. And for example, in England, stuff is a lot calmer, even though you see English people complain a lot on social media about how it's unfair that pubs close at 10. Hey, just be happy you have pubs, okay? Calm down. Hold your horses. I don't even have a pizza bar to go to. I miss pizza, guys. I miss it bad. And the only way I can get it is through like Deliveroo, and then the pizza comes and it's super cold and it's not tasty, and you just want to throw it away, but you can't because you spent money on it. This sucks. Okay, Corona sucks. We can all agree Corona sucks. But then I open stories and I see my friends from England meeting up with other friends, or friends from Kenya meeting up with other friends, or even friends from Israel that I know that have friends in their local area that they can meet up with. I sadly don't really have friends in my local area, so I can't meet up with anyone, pretty much, except for like family, which even then is kind of iffy. I can't meet too many people because my family isn't always that close. Like my cousins and grandma, etc. Like my close family, I always see every day. But yeah, I generally feel, and I know everyone says that, it's not real, it's not a realistic view. Like, don't worry, like people who post on social media, they only show the good stuff. Like, it doesn't matter that I'm aware of it. It still makes me feel like shit, knowing that people are having a good time, which makes me again sound like a horrible person. This episode is gonna make me sound like a terrible person from all aspects, but I don't care. It's who I am. I've accepted it. You guys can either accept it or you can just not accept it, and I'll be cool with either way. But yeah, as long as you follow me on Instagram, I'll be happy. But no, seriously, like, even though I'm aware that this isn't their real lives, like these are just the highlights, the good bits of their lives, it still affects me. even though I'm aware of it. And I think a lot of guys are affected by it too. Like girls are more open about, oh, I'm insecure about social, like her having a better body than me, and like, it's so cool that girls say it. I support girls talking up about stuff like that, but guys just don't. And I think guys are affected by stuff like this just as much as girls. I'm super affected by stories. Um, they really like no I don't like saying make me depressed because I'm not depressed. They just make me sad. Uh not everything is always you're either depressed or you're not. Like sometimes you're just in the middle, which is where I am when I open stories. On the other hand, I can't not open stories because I'm so intrigued to see what people are up to, which is kind of fucked up that I open stuff that I know is going to make me feel like shit, but I still open it because I obviously know no one's going to post like bad stuff in their life on their social media, like on their story. So I know what I'm going to open is going to be something that's good for the person who uploaded it, and that's in hand going to make me feel like shit, but I'm still going to open it because I'm in this loop. I'm in this loop where I'm doing stuff that's shit for me, but I'm doing it anyways because I'm so used to it because I can't stop myself. And I really realized this when I watched this Netflix documentary called The Social Dilemma, where it basically said how the social media is so addictive. They got people who used to work at Google and Facebook and Pinterest. I think there was a guy from Pinterest as well. And basically explained how it's so addictive and how they reel you in and how they know when you're using your phone, when you're not using your phone. And then they push stuff that you think is random to make you go on your phone. And I was like, whoa, I have to take like a break. I have to see what it's like to not be on my phone and to not be reeled in because that shit really affected me. Like that documentary, I was like, whoa, holy crap, they have so much power. They have so much power. Like I have to get some of it back. So I posted on my story, listen, going out of social media for a week. I was quarantined at the time. Like I was put in quarantine, and I thought this would be a great time to try and not go on social media. The original plan was to not go on anything, not use my phone for anything except for calls and text messages, because, I'm still in the army. Like if my officer calls me, I have to pick up. So I had to stay relevant on phone and SMS. So I took a week break. And I must admit it was a very weird week. So the first few days were really tough. I was whipping out my phone and clicking on Instagram without even realizing I was whipping out my phone and clicking on Instagram, which was kind of scary that this app can make me do stuff without me realizing I'm doing it. Like think about it. How many times have you gone on Instagram instinctively? Like just because you had 5 seconds to spare where it's kind of like dead time where there's nothing going on. You're like waiting for your meal to heat up in the microwave, or you are waiting for the bus. Basically time where you have nothing to do. Like before social media, you just have nothing to do. You just think. But now there's always something you can do to fill up that dead time, which is social media, which is Instagram, which is Facebook, which is all these different platforms, and you have so many options. If you've just opened Instagram, you can open YouTube. If you've just opened YouTube, you can open Twitter. If you've just opened Twitter and you've opened all these 3 already, you can open Pinterest. Like think about it. How many apps can you open and refresh and find or wait for new content on your phone right now? I can guarantee you the average, at least, maybe not you specifically. Maybe you're not really into social media, you're not really into that life. This is more like about YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, etc. How many apps do you have like that on your phone? I can guarantee you the average is higher than 5. That's 5 different apps you can open on repeat. Like you can go Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook. And then when you've done Facebook, you go back to Instagram, the first one. So you can always you're always on your phone waiting for something to refresh, waiting for something to interest you in that dead time. Which is crazy if you think about it. Like, the amount of time you're on your phone a day is insane. It's truly insane. At least for me. Like, if maybe this doesn't apply to you, maybe you're different from what I think is the mainstream average Joe who is on their phone quite a lot, especially on that dead time. And I think it makes us understand ourselves less, because before social media, this is just me hypothesizing. I was born into the social media age, so I have no idea what people did before social media came along. But people would just have nothing. Like, imagine you're waiting for the bus and your phone's dead. So you just stand there and you think. And that's when I think people really learn themselves, because they just start to think and their mind wanders, and then they think about, that time where I shared a bagel with a stranger, and that gave me so much joy, and then I realized I want to give more to people in need. For example, like, we don't have that anymore because YouTube or Twitter or our friends feeds us that time takes away that time, that we could learn about ourselves, that few minutes where our minds can truly be free to think about whatever we want. They're now closed to those different platforms. We can't think of anything outside those platforms in those few minutes, which I think sucks. So anyways, I took the week break. I took the hiatus from social media. The first few days were really tough. Was super tough. Like, and this was a week. Okay, so the first few days is pretty much up until halfway. I found it so difficult. I had to put a lock on my phone that I couldn't make a lock thing that actually worked. So what I did was I put a lock on all the social media apps that was basically my original password. So every time I instinctively opened my phone and clicked on Instagram, it would show me, it wouldn't open Instagram, it would open the lock screen. And then I had to put in the password. So it would make me aware that, oh wait, I'm not putting in the password, because I promised I'm not going to go on social media. Which, by the way, kind of connects to my first episode. I got inspired from the TV show, and immediately I told everyone I knew, pretty much. I put on my story that I'm not going to go on Instagram or Twitter or WhatsApp for the next week. And then I didn't go on it not because I didn't want to go on Instagram because I had the inspiration, but because I promised people, and then I'd look like a liar if I ended up going on social media. So that's kind of just, connecting, throwback to episode 1, a long time ago. We're on episode 4 now. Like, when did I even upload episode 1? Felt like a year ago. Joking. So yeah, I took the week break. It was a lot easier the second half of the week. Like, I didn't feel like I needed to go on it as much. Obviously, when the week ended, the first thing I did was open Instagram, Twitter, and not Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, YouTube, all the stuff that I've missed. Like, I still had the hunger to look for it, but I could have gone on another day, I think. I could have gone on another day if I really wanted to. I just didn't really want to. I just really missed Instagram. I think it showed how much... It's kind of like being a drug addict. Being addicted like this to social media. And I thought myself as a person who isn't that addicted to social media. Like, I'm not on it that much. So, like, this should be quite easy for me to take a week break. It was so fucking hard. So fucking hard. 100 times harder than I ever thought it would be for me. So even if you think, you're not the kind of guy who's on social media a lot, try it. Just try it. Try it for a day. Try it for 2 days. I'm not saying go for a week. A week is quite tough. Do it for 2 days and tell me what it's like. Let me know if you found it really easy. I doubt you'll find it easy at all. You don't have to, obviously. You don't have to be insane like me and go on a Instagram, Facebook hiatus. But yeah, I did, because I'm nuts. So just to conclude, Instagram and Facebook connects you to people, which is great. Makes you feel like shit because people only show their good sides. I didn't really talk about the feed as much. I kind of stuck to stories, but basically it's kind of the same thing. that people upload their stuff to feeds. It's just that it's always there now. Like, it's forever there. You don't have to, no one's required to upload it again and again, like a story, to always show the good stuff. Like, the good stuff is always there. That guy's ripped body is always there, and you always compare it to your, kind of fat pot belly, even though you're skinny. If you guys can't tell, if you don't know me, I'm referring to me. I'm like a skinny kid that's a bit fat and a bit chubby, but I'm a skinny kid. And then I see this guy who's posting on a lake without a shirt on, and I'm just like, yo, but I've got skinny arms and kind of a round belly. Like, I'm not like that. And it sounds very cliche, and I'm really not the kind of guy who you'd think is affected by this stuff, but obviously I am. I think everyone is to a certain level. I don't think it affects me as much as maybe other people, but I'd be lying if I said I'm not affected by, seeing shredded dudes and like fit girls all the time. And I think it's something that impacts all of us, but some people are more open about it. Mostly girls, I think. From my experience, mostly girls are more open about it, and it's more accepted that girls are, embracing their imperfect bodies. Guys aren't really allowed to. They're either called bitches or shut the fuck up. It's usually the response they get if they try to open up about stuff like that. But yeah. So that's pretty much going over Instagram and Facebook. This kind of went on longer than I expected. But, that's how it goes sometimes. Twitter. Okay, so I've just joined Twitter for the first time ever because I'm building a podcast, and I've been told it's a good way to get my name out there because a lot of people use Twitter. I've always tried to stay away from Twitter. Always. I've only heard bad stuff about Twitter. I've never heard anything good coming out about Twitter. Ever. And it might be that, I find out the good stuff as I'm on Twitter. Like, the longer I'm on it, I'll see that it's not all bad, but it's such a toxic place. Such a toxic place. And I think there's so many reasons for that. I don't think it's just randomly more toxic than Instagram and Facebook. Not that those two aren't toxic. They can be very toxic on Instagram and Facebook. I'm not denying that, but I think on Twitter, it's taken to the extreme. But I think there's a lot of reasons. I think it's just, with time, it's become normal that it's toxic. Like, Twitter has made itself the staple for toxicity on social media, just because it's let it go on. It's never, I don't think it's done enough to try stop it being such a toxic place. So that's obviously one, but I think the reason it began to be toxic is just because it's far more anonymous, I think, than Instagram or Facebook. Because Instagram especially, you upload pictures. It's built to upload pictures. Twitter is just saying what you think only. Facebook is kind of also, you have your status and whatever, but I think it's a lot more family friendly. There's a lot more mums on Facebook than there ever are on Twitter. And I think that's why some places on Facebook can be just as toxic as Twitter, but Twitter is toxic pretty much everywhere. It's much more of an opinionated platform than I think Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, ever were or ever will be. Or at least I hope. Because it's just built for you to say what you think, because you have 280 or whatever, how many characters to say what you think. And I think people were so unused to it when Twitter came out, that everyone just thinks now that their opinion should be heard and everyone should accept it and everyone should, acknowledge their opinion. And obviously everyone's opinion should be acknowledged, but you shouldn't always express your opinion all the time, especially when stuff, it's just, like, when your opinion is just negative. My mom always says, or in our household we always say, if you have nothing good to say, just don't say it. Sometimes, you just shouldn't say if it's just going to bring negativity to whoever you're speaking to. Sometimes it just shouldn't be said. And I think a perfect example of this is basically Liverpool, which is a football team, have a young player. He's 19 years old. He's my age. His name is Neco Williams. He plays in defense for Liverpool, and he had a really bad game. He's 19, and the amount of abuse he got especially on Twitter, was so high, he just deleted his Twitter. He deleted it because he couldn't take all the hate he was getting thrown at. He's a fucking 19-year-old, and these 40-year-old men are calling him a cunt because he had a bad game. Because he didn't kick a ball around as well as they thought he should. And they were swearing at him and saying really terrible things about him and his family. I don't think I've ever seen such a reaction to someone who's so young about something so small on either Instagram or Facebook. And maybe I'm just inexperienced, but for me, Twitter's been the hub of toxicity of social media. Everything that's wrong with social media, I see in Twitter. Obviously, Twitter has its good sides. It's good for promoting a podcast. Check me out on Twitter if you haven't already. But it's so bad. I think social... Okay, I have this theory. Social media is like vodka. Sometimes you mix it with different stuff, and sometimes it works. So, for example, you mix social media with photos, you get Instagram. Works. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good, depending on the night. You'll drink it, sometimes you won't drink it. You mix social media with just an opinion, and you get something like Twitter, which is terrible. It's just not good. It's not tasty, makes you want to vomit. Not a good experience. You'll probably never make that kind of drink again. However, you mix it with employment, and you get LinkedIn. And I think LinkedIn is probably the best thing to come from social media pretty much ever. I can't think of a bad thing about LinkedIn. LinkedIn is amazing. It's just literally just people who help other people get jobs. How amazing is that? There's no bits and pieces that's hidden. No, that's literally just it. It's built for people who want to take their lives. It's a serious platform for serious people who want to get serious jobs. Like, how can you think of anything wrong with LinkedIn? If you can think of anything wrong with LinkedIn, message me, because I want to know. Maybe I'm personally not on LinkedIn. I know a lot of people that are on LinkedIn and they have a great time. You know, you make connections with people you probably couldn't connect just by being yourself. It's kind of like Facebook, but only the good stuff about Facebook. Like, it connects you with people on a business level, on a serious level, not like a pleasure level, and no more. There's no uploading on a story and make you feel like shit. No, it's just because even this, I think LinkedIn has stories now, but even the stories are just pure business, or at least they're supposed to be. Like, LinkedIn is great. LinkedIn is so good. I can't wait to join LinkedIn when I need to. Hopefully, I won't need to because everyone will want to take me for a job. But even if I struggle with finding a job, I know I'll have LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is very effective and it's very non-toxic, which is just fantastic. I think it also really helps young people because young people usually don't know where to start to find looking for a job. And like it's social media and young people, it just goes hand in hand. So I think it gives an advantage to young people, and maybe at the same time it kind of disadvantages older people. So maybe that's kind of a negative side effect of LinkedIn, but that's really if you're searching for the bad. And I don't like searching for the bad. I really think LinkedIn is going to be the future of how employment works, especially as it gets better and more people are on it. Big future for LinkedIn. All the best to LinkedIn. Love you, LinkedIn. You're great. So yeah. Enjoying a lovely cup of tea. I love a good cup of tea at night. Anyways, going over to... I'm done with LinkedIn. LinkedIn's just great. Fantastic LinkedIn. Good on you. All the best. Lots of love. Moving on. YouTube and influencers. Now, I guess I kind of fall into this category as well because I have a YouTube channel. Also check out my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I upload the podcast on the YouTube platform as well if you find it more comfortable to see video. It's not a video of me as in my face. It's a video of it's basically the same thing as the podcast. But if you enjoy it on YouTube as well, you can check it out on YouTube. Just search for those that don't know and you'll find it. But yeah, I guess I kind of fall into this category as I kind of an influencer. I think podcasters are just a more serious version of YouTubers. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are some serious YouTubers. But I feel like YouTube is more built for fun and less serious and more joy, and podcasts are where people take themselves and conduct themselves in a more serious manner. But I guess podcasters also fall into this category. But I think YouTube especially is just the natural progression from mainstream TV. I think you'll see in the next few years, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, when YouTube manages to break the stigma of just being a place for kids, it can also be a place for, I think it can be a place for adults just as much as it's a place for kids. It'll take time, but YouTube will definitely break that stigma, and it will probably take over mainstream TV, which is good and bad. On the one hand, there's more freedom for people who are creative, and I think it helps a lot of kids because not just people who watch YouTube, but people who want to create YouTube videos and make money off of YouTube and make a living off of YouTube, or even just upload for the fun of it. I think there's a lot of people who are on YouTube right now that are super successful. I don't know how successful they would have been without YouTube in terms of what they would have done in the real world. For example, someone who I enjoy a lot, or at least I used to back in the day. I kind of watch him or like that kind of YouTube on and off. But KSI, for example, super successful YouTuber in England. Same with his brother Deji. Super successful. They've made millions upon millions. I genuinely think that if they weren't doing YouTube, at least one of them would be working at McDonald's. At least one of them. And they wouldn't be making millions and living in a big house and having a wonderful life that they have right now. And I think this opens up a door for so many people who have charisma, have this talent for speaking and for entertaining, that is so hard to make a living off of. Because think about it. If you want to be an actor or a singer or a performer or a dancer or whatever, it was before YouTube. It was so hard to make it out there and be successful and make it as a genuine living. But now you can just upload a choreography dance of you dancing to a certain song. Hopefully, it isn't copyrighted. And it can blow up and you can be an internet sensation and then build a channel off of that, of you dancing, and it can make you so much money. It's built a platform, like YouTube has made creative people a lot more viable for a career, which I think is fantastic. It saved so many people, and it will save, I think, the bigger it gets, so many more people, because stars come and go on YouTube, and these stars that are there now will, in a few years' time, will be replaced with different stars. So I think it's going to help a lot of kids who, might not be talented in the mainstream way of, academically. Because there's different kinds of talents out there, and I think, some people just aren't understood, and that sucks, and it's a shame that there's so much untapped potential. But now, with YouTube, maybe that's not going to be the case anymore, which is just great. Something that isn't talked about as much when it comes to social media, and this applies to all social media, every platform pretty much, it's targeted ads. I think targeted ads are so clever. I love targeted ads. Some people might disagree. They might think it's an invasion of privacy, or your phone's always listening to you. But it makes so much sense to have targeted ads. Like, I don't remember what it was like before having targeted ads, but I would hate if all I saw, or things that popped up all the time because ads were random, were like ads for tampons or for baby powder. Like, that's not relevant to me. It's wasting my time. But if, I see an ad for something that I genuinely enjoy, for example, if the PlayStation 5 advert was on, like, I'd enjoy watching the advert. It would reel me in and I'd have a good time and I wouldn't feel like time is being wasted, which is something mainstream media doesn't do. Like, me and my family watch the Hebrew version of Survivor, and there were so many ads throughout the entire season, sorry. And so many of them were just so boring because I couldn't relate. And obviously it's harder to make targeted ads on mainstream media because you can't really tell who's watching and what they like and don't like, which is why I think stuff like YouTube will eventually overtake, because people who are putting these ads out there would prefer their ads be targeted to their specific consumer. But I love targeted ads. I feel like I'm not wasting my time. Sometimes I genuinely enjoy the ad. Like, I don't skip it because it's targeted for me. It's something that YouTube knows I'm most likely to enjoy. So I love targeted ads. I think they're fantastic. I don't see why everyone complains about targeted ads. Anyways, the bad side to YouTube and influencers. With great power comes great responsibility. And sometimes these massive YouTube stars, who usually have a very young fan base, whether it be YouTube or any other platform where you're an influencer, it can also be on Instagram. But usually on YouTube, they do these YouTubers have, like, they give out advice. There's so many different YouTubers that build a massive audience, and obviously this audience wants to send their issues because they love the influencer that they follow, and they want to get their advice on something. And usually these influencers are very young. Even someone who is, experienced, in quotes, like KSI, I'm pretty sure he's 25, 26. Logan Paul, who has like 20 million subscribers on YouTube, is like 24. Like, these are young adults giving advice about romance or what they should do in terms of a career to people who are like not that young, not that much younger than them, not that much less experienced than them, if you get what I mean. For example, Jake Paul, who's like 21, massive internet star, I think also has like 20 million subscribers. He made this course for kids to be an entrepreneur and make money quickly. It's like he endorsed it. He's part of the course, and he made kids pay $20 a month, or I think maybe $40 a month. And it's not only is he taking money from kids and giving them nothing, he's taking money from kids and giving them such bad advice, such bad information. And that's the problem with stuff like YouTube, is that everyone has a voice. Once again, this is a very recurring theme with social media, because that's what social media is. It's you expressing yourself. And sometimes it's great to express yourself, but sometimes you don't know what you're talking about and you have too much power. And it's people who aren't experienced sharing that, like having that power and not using it correctly. And not because they have malicious intent, it's just because that's what they're doing. And that's so bad. And it can have such damaging consequences. There's so many examples. I just gave out one. I listen to this podcast. This girl's also a YouTuber, I think. But I found her through podcast. Her name's Emma Chamberlain. And she has this thing where every once in a while she has these advice sessions, like as a podcast, as an episode of her podcast. She gives advice to people that send her stuff that they struggle with. And I think even though the intentions are great, the advice she gives can be so like wrong, because, for example, someone would send like, I'm following like this guy I like, How do I make him like me back, or what should I do to make him like me back? And like, you don't know the backstory to this person. You don't know the interactions she's had with the guy that she likes and she wants him to like her back. And so the advice that they give can be so not relevant, or in some cases wrong, to the person who's asking the advice, because for Emma would think that the situation is that like she hasn't done anything, the girl that's sent the question hasn't done anything wrong, and so she'll be like, oh, like he's not worth it, like don't message him, like find someone else. When in reality, maybe the person who sent the question, the girl who sent the question, it might be a different situation where she hurt his feelings and she just didn't say because she didn't want to embarrass herself on social media, and then she'd use that advice and use it wrongly, and it wouldn't be relevant to her. And not only would it not be relevant, it would damage her situation with the boy she likes. Hopefully you guys understood what I was trying to say. But yeah, I think the fact that these people have so many these YouTubers and influencers have such a big following, usually, that they think they know more than they actually do, which is a shame, because in time they'll probably know more than they actually do. And it's kind of ironic I'm saying this, because I'm 19. I have no right to, not that I don't have any right, that's wrong, but like, I'm judging people who are, I guess, kind of older than me for giving advice to people who are my age or younger than me, and I'm saying they're too young to give advice, when that's kind of what this podcast is about, is me just talking about stuff that I've went through and saying what I've learned, and kind of giving you guys advice if you're in the same situation or in a similar situation. But I always, if I am ever going to do something that's dedicated to giving out advice, then I'll disclaim it very obviously that my advice is very situational. Like, it depends on the situation, because you can't give me the whole backstory of if person A is giving me wanting my advice and they're telling me their situation, they can't tell me the whole story, because you just can't. It usually, situations that you need advice for are very complicated. So I think, for example, another podcast I listen to is Tiny Meat Gang, which is Noel and Cody's podcast, where they just talk about random stuff. And they also had, at least for one bit, they had a section where a girl came in and asked for an advice, where her boyfriend is wanting to make a podcast, and like, what should she do? How should she convince him not to give up on his degree to start a podcast? And they were like, yo, listen, like, we don't know your whole situation, so we're going to tell you what we think based on what we know. They made it very obvious, and I thought that was great. I think that's how things should be done, but it's most of the time it's not done like that, because that doesn't get as many views or as many clicks, which is the point of YouTube, is to get as many clicks and as many views as possible. So I think there is obviously good and bad with influencers in YouTube. You have to take everything with a pinch of salt when it's being told on stuff like YouTube. But yeah. Wow, I'm already on 15 minutes. Jesus. Okay, I'm going to cut it here. We're not going to talk about TikTok and Tinder. Sorry guys, I apologize. I rambled on, but I had a lot of fun going through every topic. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. But yeah, I am apologizing that I'm recording in advance. I can't help it. It's Corona. Blame Corona. Blame the bats that gave us this shitty disease. But yeah, I'll let you guys know when I'm not pre-recording anymore. Hopefully soon. I don't want to pre-record too many episodes, because I enjoy interacting with you guys and reading out your answers and seeing what you guys think, and then that affecting how I record and when I record and what I record and how I record. So yeah, you'll be the first to know when I stop pre-recording, which I'm praying is soon, because I don't enjoy it. I enjoy recording, not the pre-bit. The pre-bit sucks. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to cut the episode here. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to check me out on Instagram and on Twitter. If you want to find my Twitter and you follow me on Instagram, Yeah, I think the link is still there. So check it out. It's on my bio. If it's on my bio, then go on Twitter and just write, for those that don't know, podcast, and you'll find it. It's really easy. It's like 2 steps. Step 1, open Twitter. Step 2, type it. And step 3, follow. 3 steps. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So yeah, make sure to check me out on all my social medias. If you're listening to this on YouTube, leave a like, leave a comment on what you thought of the episode, what your opinions are, because hey, on social media, you can post your opinion and everything is cool. So make sure to leave your opinion down there because you can, and it's your right, because we're on social media. So let me know what you thought of the episode. Thank you guys so much for listening to my lovely voice. See you all soon. Have a lovely week. Take care. Peace.